Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I shall be teaching you on how to sew 6-pieces skirts. 6-pieces skirt is a basic kind of skirt we use here commonly in Nigeria. I'm going to be making this video as simple as possible.
This diagram is the basic silhouette of a 6-pieces skirt, and it comprises of a back and front, the back panel and the front panel. The front panel has 3 pieces, which is panel 1, 2, 3. The panel 1 and 3, they are the same, but they have to be mirrored while drafting. While panel 2 is different, as you can see from the picture. Then as well, we have our the middle panel is the largest panel in all of the panel.
The basic measurement required for your 6-pieces skirt are your waist circumference and your hip circumference. The rest are your vertical measurement, which is your hip, waist to hip, your waist to crotch, waist to your upper thigh, and your waist to your ankle. That's your skirt length. So after you've gotten your measurement, the basic calculation we shall be doing is that so the basic calculation we require for the drafting of this 6-pieces pattern is the waist and the hips divided by 6. When you divide your waist measurement, our waist that we are using here is 36. We divide it by 6. We got 6 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That is about 0.5 inch on both sides. We're going to get 7. Then on the hip, we have 44. Our measurement we're using is 44 inches. We divide it by 6. After we divide it by 6, we get 7.23. We'll make it 7.25, 233. We'll make it 7.25. Then we add 1 inches to it as the sewing allowance, which is making it 8.25. Then that's our measurement that we shall be using. When we are making 6-pieces skirt, you are going to be dividing it by 6.
So we get our pattern paper and draft our horizontal measurement, which is your waistline, your hip line, your crotch line, your upper thigh line, and your ankle line. We in this place, we are making use of crotch line. Most people don't use crotch line, but because in most cases when you're drafting skirts, you see that it usually have a sharp corner because you don't get the correct angle at which you're supposed to draft. So I'm using the crotch line so that you get the actual curve. Then as well, then the upper thigh. I'm making use of the upper thigh. That is about 4 inches away from your ankle line. So we are not going to be putting it. You're not going to be putting your curve at the ankle line. You're going to be putting that at the upper thigh, which is 4 inches away. So in this place, my ankle line, my upper thigh is going to be 18 inches. It all depends on the measurement. 18 inches is not a constant. It can also be 17 or 19, depending on.
When you're drafting, make sure the vertical measurement are well placed. If not, all of your drafting is going to be floppy. After you might have gotten your vertical measurement, the next thing is to impute your horizontal measurement on your vertical measurement. We shall be imputing the waist measurement on the waistline. That is our waist measurement is 7. We put 3.5 on both sides. On the hip line, we inserted the hip measurement, which is 8.25. We divided it into 2. Also on the crotch line, we're still going to use that same measurement we use on the hip line, which is 8.5, 4.1/16 on both sides. Then on the upper thigh line, we're going to use the measurement we use on the waistline. So then on your hemline, which is your ankle line, we are going to be measuring 10 inches. You can make it 11, you can make it 12. It all depends on what the amount of fabric you have. Then after that, we connect all the points. We join all the points that we've marked out by doing it like as you've seen in the video. If you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe. Now you'll see we are joining it gradually with using our ruler. You can also make use of a curve rule if you have the sufficient curve ruler. I don't have curve rule, which is your hip curve. This is what I have, and this is what I'm using. Even with this, I'm still getting my I'm still getting my parameters correctly. So you continue this way. This is your basic panel that you are going to use to draft all of your panels. So we shall be starting with our front middle panel. What we are going to do is I will take that basic pattern with basic 6 pieces pattern we've already cut, panel we've already cut. We trace it out. After we trace it out, we mark our hip line, we mark our waistline, we mark and the upper thigh line. Use our ruler to bring it out. The only difference here is that on the thigh line and on the crotch line, we are going to be subtracting on the tie line or on the crotch line, we're going to be subtracting 0.5 inch from both sides. But since the waistline and upper tie line, they are the same thing, we are going to connect it from the waistline to the upper tie line so that the hips, you are eliminating the hip from it. That means your hip measurement is the same thing as your waist measurement and it's the same thing as your upper tie line measurement. So we are eliminating that 0.5 inches away from the hip. So you are going to get something flat. So this is how it's going to look like. After you've gotten this, you cut it out. So this is your mid front panel of your 6 pieces skirt. So you take it away, and do the same thing. To use your basic pattern, trace on the paper of what you did just now. If you've traced it on paper, now we are looking for the front side panel. The front side panel, this is the front side panel is going to be 2, is going to be cut on mirror, but you're going to be drafting it as 1. So you're going to mirror it. Then this, when you've cut it, you bring out the hip line and the waistline. The hip line and the waistline connect with ruler, and your upper thigh line if you've connect with ruler. The difference here is that it's only one part of the hip line and the crotch line that is going to be subtracted, not the other side. You're only going to remove from one side. So you are going to be doing it like this. It's only one side that will be flat. The other side will still be having it to retain its curvy nature. So you are going to follow what I'm going to do in the video. What you do is that you eliminate 0.5 inch from one part of the hip as well as on the crotch line. So you're going to be putting your ruler this way so that it will be flat from the waistline down to the upper thigh line. So this part that I'm marking, you're going to cut it out. So this is your side panel. So we've gotten both side panel, both your front panel, both front panel. The other side panel you are going to duplicate it so that this is your front panel. So the next thing after you've gotten this is that we're going to the back panel. You are tracing it out. You've traced it out like the way you traced the former one. So your side panel, in your side panel, is that what your back side panel, what you are going to do is that one part of the basic panel is going to be bigger by 0.5 inches. Remember that we lost some on the other side of the front panel, we lost 0.5 inches. So this time around, you are going to put it on this side, on one part of it. So the part you're going to be putting 0.5 inches on the hip line. And anything you put on the hip line, you also put it on the crotch line. That's just going to be the difference. This is just the difference. Then you connect it to the upper thigh line, to the lower thigh line, and as well connect it to the hip line. This is like as you're seeing in the video. So this is it, and this is your back side panel. You are going to make it ×2, but they are both on mirror. So the other side, it's not going to be touched. It's only one part. Now the next thing supposed to do, we'll be doing is to draft the mid panel, the mid back panel. The mid back panel is way bigger. What we are going to do is that since there is zip, we are going to be putting zip allowance on both sides, 1 inch on both sides. That's making it 2 inches. We're adding 1 inch on both sides of the line that we just drawn. If we add it, we make sure that then we'll notify it as zip allowance. So what we're doing is that we can use the basic panel that we drafted and place it on top and trace it. But for the purpose of this lecture, I'm not going to trace it that way. I'm going to do it basically the way it will be easier for us to learn. So what we are going to do is to put all the parameters back. We are going to, okay, this is your zipper allowance. This is your zipper allowance. So if you've gotten your zipper allowance, the next thing we can use our pattern, like I already said, this our basic pattern. You divide it into two because of that zipper allowance. So you cannot just make this thing. So you can paste it on top. But we in this diagram, we are not going to be pasting it. What we shall be doing is we shall be drafting it basically. We shall be starting all over. So we can as well paste it like this. So it's still going to come in shape, but we are not going to do. What we are going to do is to put all our vertical measurements. You put your waist line, your hip line, your crotch line, your upper thigh line, and your knee line. That's what we will be doing, and we are going to be starting as if we are drafting a new pattern. So, and also your ankle line. This is what we'll be doing till now. We are. It's as if we are drafting a new pattern again. So basically, like I said, if you're drafting your six pieces, just know that these are back. The back mid panel is the biggest. You have your boot here, so this is where the boot is sitting. Now they are now what we are going to do is we are going to be putting our waist measurement, which is 3.5 on both sides, your hip measurement, which is 4.1 on both side, then your on your crotch line, you put what you put on your waist, on your hip line. Then on the, now the difference is going to come here now. On the waist, on the lower thigh line, you are going to be making, instead of 3.5, you're going to be reducing 1 inch from it because that's where your boot is sitting. So you reduce, that's where the major difference. So it's going to, you're not going to use the other one. So on this, on the ankle line, we're going to be marking the same thing, what we marked before, which is 10. Now we connect that 10, we connect it. Now you see that there are two lines. We're not going to be using that 3.5. We're going to make it 2.5 from it so that that place, that's where your boot is sitting. You see this one, this line. We're not going to use this particular line. We're going to make use of the 2.5 inches marking. Then that is our major, that's one of the difference of this panel. The in that ankle line, the ankle line is the ankle line is bit slimmer because that's where your boot is sitting. So this is it. Your panel is gradually coming out. The back panel is gradually coming out. So now you see this is basically what we've drawn. Is just as the same thing as the basic pattern. So, but there is still going to be different on the hip line because that's the biggest part. Remember, at the front panel, we eliminate both sides. So, in this side, also in the back panel, we are going to add to both sides 0.5 inches. So, we are going to add the 0.5 inches on the hips alone, then mark it out as shown in the video. So, gradually, we are coming to the end of this video. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe so that you can get more educative video. Thank you very much. So this is it, and this is your 6 pieces skirts. So this is the back pattern. This is the back mid. This is the mid back pattern, and this is how it's going to be. So what you just do, paste it on your material and cut it. When you are cutting, make sure you economize your material. Then if you have any question, kindly let us know. If there's anything you want us to know, please notify us on the comment section. Thank you.